Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? I'm Lucky Number 7, and welcome to the channel. Hello, that's Noob. How are you, my good friend? Thank you for popping around to my stream yesterday. Well, not yesterday, Sunday. And we're here today to introduce you to Sorskoot, or Timmy Cooker. He is a developer, another live coder, and we're on a seventh episode now, and we're rolling through the live coders as always. My chat is a little slower than. Okay, so the chat on screen is actually faster than the chat I've got on the mod dashboard, which is absolutely fantastic. So yes, we've got Sorskoot today. We're going to talk about development and everything like that. And we'll see how we go. So I think just we should go straight over to him and introduce let him introduce himself. So, how are you doing, Timmy?
Yes, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. So, where are you from? What do you do? And just give us a little bit of a basic history of yourself.
A basic history.
And
Yeah. So I'm from the Netherlands, and during the day I work as a consultant hired to other companies to help them out with building enterprise level web apps. I'm hired as a lead developer, a software architect, kind of about what they need. And there, I work most of the time with C# and ASP.NET Core, a little bit of Azure sometimes. And then at night, when the kids are asleep, when my wife is asleep, then I sneak back at my PC and I start building my own applications and games and all kinds of crazy things with JavaScript, and try to code them live as much as possible.
fair, fair, fair. Yes. So we all do the sneaking about as parents.
Yes.
It's one of those things that we have to do it in our line of work because we enjoy coding. It's one of our biggest hobbies. Well, a lot of us enjoy
Absolutely.
coding. It's one of our biggest hobbies, and we just get on with it. And it's one of those things where we, I, to be honest, yes, we get paid a decent amount of whack, but we work at it and we constantly learn. And if you don't
Yep.
constantly learn, it's one of those things that, like I said in Live Coders Conference 1, you start to become irrelevant and sort of you're not getting on with the future tech. Now, on that note, you are a Microsoft MVP as well, and you have been for quite a while now. And in that time, I'm going to say, gone from different category to different category because of the technologies you've been using, and they've either disappeared or moved on to something different. So, and I know you're working on some exciting stuff now.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about those last 10 years and where you are now.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I started doing Silverlight application, if anyone can remember that. And I was doing a lot of expression blend in that time as well. And I met some people online, and we started a user group for Silverlight and expression, the expression suite. You had blend and design and web, I think. And that got me my first MVP award in the expression blend area. It was actually for Silverlight, but there was no Silverlight MVP at that point in time. And blend was there, so I got a blend MVP. And then from there on, Silverlight went away. I keep building Windows apps. So from Silverlight, we were doing XAML with different web apps. But at some point, I switched over from C# XAML to building apps to JavaScript. So I moved from Windows platform to Windows development. They keep changing the name of the category every time. And I remember we were at the MVP Summit, big room, lots of people building Windows apps, and there were actually 2 people building the web apps with JavaScript. We were kind of like weird in that room, and I think at some point they just said, "Well, we don't need any JavaScript developers in apps anymore," so they moved us to the I think it was Visual Studio and Developer Tools at that point, and now it's just Developer Tools, just like everything else. And I'm on the front end side now, and yeah, I'm really into different web APIs. I love reading and experimenting with all kind of features that are coming and slowly progressing. And one of my favorites is the WebXR device API, as it's called officially, and that's for doing virtual reality and augmented reality through your browser. And that's running on an Oculus Quest or on your phone or HoloLens, whatever you have around.
And with those sorts of technologies, we always think of like things like Chrome and Firefox and how they are very much how to put it? They can be system hogs, or known to be system hogs in terms of memory usage and hardware usage and everything like that. So, how does like WebXR and all that sort of stuff fit into this? And are we expecting? I mean, in the future, are we expecting Chrome to be like, well, you need a minimum of 12 gig just to run a web browser? And are you going to need a dedicated graphics card? And sort of how does that side of things work compared to what we are looking at now?
I think it is still the browser. So when you are building something for like a demos or the small things I build, if it runs on my phone, I'm happy. Or on the Oculus Quest. But if you are building something that is going to be used by pretty much the whole world, you have to keep in mind that your website is still a website. So it has to run everywhere on the low-end devices. So you need to do something to keep it running on devices with low memory, or maybe even devices that don't support the WebXR device API. They're also like, it's not supported on iOS yet. So that's a big one. Then there are some experimental browsers. Mozilla built an WebXR viewer you can download and run on there. That way you can run WebXR on an iPhone, which runs pretty well. But you have to keep some things in mind, memory-wise. But yeah, if you're building a game in Unity that has to run on low-end devices, you have to do something there as well. So I don't think that's really special. Yeah, and running it in a web browser is so cool. It runs running stuff in a browser. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree on that. Give me a second. I have got a little spot on my camera. It's like just cleaning this thing. It's like I noticed it just out the corner of my eye. It was really bugging me. It's like that's better. Get back in focus, right? So, yeah. So you're saying there that you've still got a lowest common denominator and sort of trying to get those low end browsers working, but it sounds like excellent tech, and it's one of those things that I think you're excited about, and I think if I had the time, I would be excited about it as well. But we've all got our own things, and we've all got our own hobbies.
Yeah.
So, on to the next thing is, we know you're a dev. We know you're a streamer, but tell us more about your streaming. I know you say you do it during the evenings when the kids are in bed, just like myself. But what got you into it, and why do you stick around, and how do you think it's going to progress?
Yeah, I was thinking about it today, actually. Why I started it, and I can't remember. I started streaming. I looked it up. I started streaming in early 2016 on Live Coders TV. There was a channel or a site where there were only live coders, and people were just building their own projects. And I streamed there pretty much every lunch break for an hour, building all kinds of different projects. But then at some point, I switched contracts, and the next one didn't have the opportunity anymore to do that during lunch breaks. So I started streaming at home early 2017 and make the switch to Twitch. And then at some point, I just couldn't keep up with the schedule, and it kind of crumbled away. And then last year, 2019, about around April, I picked it up again, and then I said I'm going to stream 2 times a week, um, unless there is really something going on. And I'm doing that ever since. But the live Goda side was pretty cool, and I was streaming and like an hour in on some weird site, and there were like 30 people watching on average, which was pretty cool in the time.
Right, so you didn't even start on Twitch. That's really interesting. I mean, did you consider Twitch, or was that original site?
I thought I did stream to Twitch sometimes, but I can or the I cannot go back that far on Twitch. You can look in your in on the insides of your channel and stuff, and you can go back a really long time. But I cannot go back past 2017. So I might have done some streams before that to Twitch as well. I think I'm on Twitch since 2014 or something. But I really got into streaming on Live Coders TV.
Excellent, excellent. And then did that collapse before you made the switch, or did you make the switch before?
It's actually still there, and my old streams are still up on a website. They changed ownership, and I think you have to pay for it now, and they just ruined it.
Oh no, it's one of those things. People try and make money out of stuff, and they either get the model right, or it goes completely the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately, that is happened to that site. It's happened to Mixer, unfortunately. Mind you, Mixer did have a good. It had a good theory behind it as a platform, but it just wasn't. It wasn't. Well, I remember Mixer when it was Beam, before it got bought by Microsoft and changed into Mixer. But then that's a whole different story. So yes, so you became a Twitch streamer. You do your hobby, and you basically that's where it goes. So you joined the Live Coders as well, and as a community, we're now up to, as of today, as I looked, 192.
Wow.
It's epically huge. I mean, we added 25 to the team this weekend, and that doesn't include the new intern program, which has been very interesting and very well received in the community. And that's not half of them. I know a lot of live coders, non-team members that are coding live in that science and tech section, that haven't even looked at coming to join the team yet. And some of them won't, and some of them will, and a few people are very because the person who created it is an employee of a specific company. Some people just don't want to touch it.
Yep.
Which is fair enough. It's like but it's not part of that. It's not part of his job. Nope. It's a completely separate thing, which is really interesting. And I think the new thing of the intern program that has been so well received is well received by those interns, by the members of the team that are actually helping those interns. And I think it's one of those things that we can now say that we're actually growing at a pace and bringing people into the team at such a pace that you can't have everyone directly in this going straight into the team, because it's impossible to just crack that.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to just go, right, everyone gets everything. And it's not restricting it. It's just making sure that we're nurturing the right people in the right places. And it's something that I've got to sort of just think about and just go off on a little rant just for a second. We are interviewing you today, but
well, I'm kind of curious about it. Of course, I know about the intern program, but I haven't looked into it yet. I've been too crazy busy the last few weeks, so I'm actually kind of curious about this as well. What do you have to do to become an intern? I mean, I know people that are streaming coding. They don't have the viewers yet to become a live coder. I know people that really want to become a live coder, or a team member. They are live coders, but they are not a team member yet. So what should they do to become an intern?
Okay. So basically, an intern who is somebody who doesn't meet the criteria yet. So these are people that we see something in them from the start. So out of 52 applications, we accepted 25 straight into the team, 25 as interns, and a couple of rejections. The couple of rejections were because they don't quite meet community code of conduct. This is because the actual team does have sponsors, and also the team is starting. It is a non-profit organization, but it actually is running as a semi-business to provide other things. So, for example, we take some of that sponsorship money goes to things like the team jerseys, the team swag pack that we're getting.
Yeah.
Have you got yours yet?
No, I haven't. I think it's
Oh,
posted today.
yes, I got the tracking information for mine as well. I'm like, I'm watching it. It's going to. Mine is currently set in Jamaica.
I don't have the tracking information yet. It's just that I read something in the Discord.
Oh, okay. Fritz will send you the tracking information.
Cool.
But no,
Can't wait.
I know. So that's where the sponsorship money goes to, and we're actually doing some interesting stuff. So we've just taken on. I'm doing some training for a big company who wants to do a lot more Twitch stuff, and they've actually paid the live coders who are actually paying me to do the training course.
That is cool.
And it's just like, that is pretty sweet. And it's just like, well, there you go. I'm a trainer now. Basically,
Yeah.
almost. It's like something that 2020. So that's where we don't. It's like we can't just go, okay, open the floodgates and let everyone in, which is actually a great idea. But then you've got to think about the activity, how many people are there, how many people aren't there,
Yeah.
and as we said, you can't just send a swag package out to everyone because that's extortion. That's loads of money. I mean, just the postage was ridiculous. I think on C# Fritz.
Yeah, it's amazing. He is amazing.
He actually got stopped from sending
Yeah.
items by his postal company because he was sending too much and they thought it was fraud.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So yeah, we've got these 25 interns that sort of need that little bit extra. So there's a couple on the team that didn't quite have the interaction. There's a couple on the team that didn't quite have enough science and tech. So they were doing science and tech streams, but they were mixed in with a lot of gaming.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when you've got that sort of community, is their community a gaming community, or is there a community of science and tech, a bit of both and a mix? And then we have the people that just haven't got the viewers yet. They're doing something really cool, like one of the folks, Suave Pirate. I think it was Suave Pirate anyway. I hope it was him. Was doing controlling Dark Souls with Alexa.
Cool. I love that kind of stuff. I really do.
And as soon as I saw it, I went, yes. Oh, he hasn't got the viewership.
We need to make a program.
Nurturing team. Yeah, it was literally one of those moments where you go, we've got to get him on the team somehow.
Yes.
And lots and lots of fun getting those people in. And I don't know if you know DNI Stream.
By name only.
No, okay. So DNI Stream is a guy called Chris, and Josie is one of the other people on that team, and they do a podcast every week. And what they did is they went from doing the podcast every week, so he does a bit of streaming every couple of days as well, along with that. and he's very good and all that sort of stuff. But again, he was averaging 15 to 20 viewers, and he became a bit inconsistent. So then it dropped a little. So he's on the nurturing side just to get that viewership back up, and it's just almost there. And that's where we come in and sort of say, okay, you're not interacting properly, you're not doing something. You could improve on this, or you could improve on that. And that's where we sort of step in. So that's the whole system. And now you're a little bit more informed, and so is everyone else, because we are trying to make the process a little bit more transparent, as it were. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So we've talked about you as a developer, you as well. You're a family man. We know that.
Yeah.
We've talked to you about you as a streamer, and we've talked about where you've gone and come, and you're going. You are going to be a live coder for a while, I assume.
Yeah. I actually started coding when I was 12 in '92 when we got a PC, and I found GW Basic on there, and I started creating things, and I never stopped actually, and I don't think of ever stopping. And doing it on the stream is just at first it was a really good way to focus, because there are people watching. There could be people watching, so you're not going to slowly drift away and starting to watch cat videos on YouTube or something. You can't do that. So people are watching, and you will stay focused. So for me, the focus part was something that was really important when I started streaming. But now the chat is so interactive and actually distracting me more than so if I need to do something now, I need to not stream because I will be distracted by the chat. But programming and coding is just, I love it.
We all learn from we all learn to be a broadcaster in the end, don't we? And it's completely different from being a coder. It's not heads down, I'm coding, go away, don't talk to me. It's very much chat interaction. Here we go. Talk to people. Have questions.
Have you ever had that you are just sitting, just working, and you are in your office at home working, basically at your streaming PC, and then all of a sudden you notice you are talking to the stream while you're not streaming, just working? Have you ever had that?
Yes. It's just like head down, talking. It's like I always talk to myself now, and it's like, I need to do this, I need to do that. I'm just going to click here and do a release on this. I haven't quite got to the point, and thank you for that follow.
I had that going on as well. And you just have your chatbot open, you forgot to shut it down, and then the alerts go off while you're working. Someone just randomly follows, and the alerts go off, which is pretty cool as well.
I had something similar once, but it was because I was helping somebody test featured chat, and I had their browser source URL. And I accidentally just kept the browser source URL in the background. And when I introduced the sound effects, they actually started putting their own sound effects into it. So it was very much. I heard this because in featured chat, I've actually put a cat sound effect, which is just one of the random ones in there. And all I heard was this. I was like. What the was that? And it's just like it took me a good half an hour to find a tab that was making sounds because he was featuring the chat on his channel, and I just left this debugging thing open. So oh God. But I think we've all had those crazy situations, and I think, as you say, working at your desk and being your streaming PC, you're very much aware that you're almost on stream 24/7, but you're not. So, apart from the streaming and apart from doing it, do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, I play a bit of music, which you might be able to tell from my background. I started out playing saxophone, um, but with the children, and I cannot practice at night; it's just making too much noise. So I switched to bass most of the time. I play bass in a band, just like we practice once every 2 weeks, and it's just really for fun. And a few times a year we have a performance live somewhere, which is pretty cool. Just something else to do, and I love just figuring out the notes to play and that kind of stuff. And I used to create music as well before got into live coding. I think I actually did some streams where I wrote some music for the games and stuff. But yeah, it's a bit to the background to the music.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I suppose being in the band, you haven't done much this year, in terms of any gigging, or have you tried to do like an online gig?
No, we didn't do it online. We skipped a few rehearsals. We had a performance not too long before the entire outbreak, in one of the biggest outbreaks in the cities in the Netherlands,
Okay.
which was really weird. That is where our the singer of a band lives. Um, so it was like weird, and it came pretty close. Um, but I think we're now at the point where we can just rehearse with all six of us again, and yeah, we've done some
Because
recording. So if the band's not complete, we can do some recording, and uh, then the next time the drummer is there, and then we can record drums, and then the keyboard player is there, then we record some keyboards and stuff. So we
it,
slowly getting some demos done to put online.
oh, excellent. Good, good. Is it covers or is it
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, are you, or I know you said you wrote your own music at some point, but it was a case of, is somebody else in the band writing music, or is it just a cover band, as it were?
It's a cover band. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I
That's
did write some my own music, and that's all kind of experimental electronic stuff, um, with drums and beats and all over the place. I love experimenting with different measures, and crazy things with beats, and I actually worked on a tool to randomize the music, so you can select different parts and then assign colors to it, and then it would pick. You can create a bar with a certain pattern of colors, and it would pick the sounds based on the color. So you can create kind of random drums, but in a certain specific pattern.
right. I think I get what you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because I
So it's it.
because yeah, I was going to say you would like one of the projects that I worked on while I was doing my Twitch work. Have you heard of the Artificial Next channel?
Artificial next. No.
Okay, so for the past 2 years, they've done a couple of seasons on just the AI within the. It's like a live scripted artificial intelligence where chat can have chat can affect the storyline. Um, but then this year they added another element, and I did a little bit of work with the company that sort of created this. Was I was helping them capture that chat, capturing Twitch chat. And what they were doing is running sentiment analysis on that chat to compose the score for the show.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I've been looking into finding ways to do music on AI. I think it's called Jukebox or something. A tool that's doing music based on artists. amazing project. But I think 1 minute of music takes 9 hours to be generated, so it doesn't work live. But if you would say I want some music in the style of Elvis, they generate some music that's in the style of Elvis. And you want to have like music in the style of James Brown, they would generate some music in the style of James Brown. And it is completely, you just hear the music. It's crazy.
That's very cool because it's because basically so what they're doing is they're recording the elements as a catalog. Basically, they analyze it all, pick out the right bits, and then make track based on that.
I think they would literally generate the data for the audio based on.
That's interesting.
I don't know exactly how it works. There are a lot of YouTube videos that try to explain kind of how it works, but it's amazing technology. And I would,
It's insane, isn't it?
if you can do it live. So if you just would, then the whole DMCA problem on Twitch would be over. You just say, I want to listen to some music in the style of the Rolling Stones, and you don't get into any trouble. You just have the music you want to listen to, but it's all original.
Live generated and never the same twice.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's not there yet, but
No.
I love that kind of stuff.
The life score stuff was sort of, you had the 4 sentiments, and based on that, it would sort of, there was intensities based on those sentiments. So it would be in the center and then work its way outwards into each of the each of the forks, or whatever you want to call the prongs. It was like a spider diagram type thing, and the intensity of the music changed, and it was mysterious, sad, and intense. I think the last one was. So it was just like, it would take the chat and just take these. I think there was pre-recorded 8-bar segments that would change based on the intensity, and it would sort of just go like this. It was very interesting.
So cool.
But, yeah, it's like, oh my god. And the actual it's Thomas Gruber, if you've ever heard of him. He created Siri.
What did he create?
Siri. So talk about voice analysis and everything like that. There we go. I think he's downwards there.
I'm trying to build my own version of Siri, but it's not working. That's one of the downside of being a coder. If you cannot get something to work, it's going to get to you. It will. These kind of things could keep me up at night. So it was actually the stream yesterday. I wanted to do some things with voice recognition and respond to that. And it is in my chatbot. I can talk to my chatbot and she responds. But I wanted to take it to the next level, and I could not get it to work. And I spent some hours today again. I cannot get it to work, and it's really, really bothering me.
Oh no! Yeah, it's the whole voice control. I think, right. There's a lot of user experience people out there, and something that I've been thinking about is, okay, user experience on mobiles and user experience on web is getting to a point where most sites are copies. So you look at Facebook, you look at LinkedIn, you look at Instagram, you look at every single site, Twitch. It's almost the same layout.
Yeah.
In whatever it does. And I don't know why my computer just turned on in the background there. That might be distracting for Timmy there, but you lot at home don't see it. Sorry about that. That's distracting me. So it's a case of where was my train of thought? My train of thought had gone. It was, I think, with voice, with VR, with AR, that UX is going to be changing, and you've got to think about that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because it's an interesting subject, and I'm interested. I'm not as interested in like coding the AR and the VR and the voice stuff. I'm just interested in how the user interacts with them and how that user experience exists and gets better.
It's all web standards. The voice recognition is a web standard. The VR is a web standard. It's all web standards.
Mm.
That's what's cool about it.
Oh yeah, it's all connected world, and it's fantastic. The way that all this stuff is coming about. And yes, Thomas Gruber founded Siri Inc., or was one of the co-founders before it was acquired by Apple.
I didn't know.
Neither did I.
And
funny enough, that was only in 2010 that it was acquired. Oh. It was created in 2007.
Wow.
According to Wiki, anyway. So we can't take it as a full. This is actually what happened.
That's pretty cool, actually. That it's that old already.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it's when you look at Twitch, and like my Twitch account is 10 years old this year.
Wow.
And it's like, where has that time gone? I've had 2 kids. I've had 3 jobs. I've had all sorts of stuff since then. Actually, no, 4 jobs. Yeah, forget that. So yeah, so you're a musician. You're a coder. Musician and code. Interesting thing that they are both very creative things. I watch. Do you know Matthew K. Heafy, the lead singer of Trivium? He's. I would say it's a metal band. He does a lot of streaming on Twitch, and he's done a few streams like over the past sort of 6 months where he's created tracks over like a few streams, and the stuff, the logical steps that he goes through in creating a track are almost the same logical steps as we go into creating a bit of software. And it's one of those things that it's a whole mindset and a whole logical set of actually doing that. But then a musician, like some musicians and some coders, have no idea how each other works. But then some people, like yourself, do a bit of both, and it sort of works, and you understand that it's almost the same thing.
It's actually, I never thought about coding as being creative.
You didn't?
No, it's always like the graphical part. I like doing the graphics as well with the 3D modeling, and I'm not doing that on stream that much. But I know my way around Photoshop and all that kind of stuff, 3D Studio, AutoCAD, the whole thing. But that's my creative side, and I never looked at coding as being creative, but it actually is. It is like almost an art form in some way.
Yes, it's a very scientific and logical art form.
Yeah.
It's just like it's not like you can. Okay, I think there's a difference between sort of music and actually doing a painting, for example.
I'm actually thinking about Bob Ross, but then with code, like adding a little fluffy method and some.
Just put a little fluffy method there,
yes, a little constant and a bit of integer, yeah. But
when you think about the okay, so there is the.
Code Ross.
A lot of Code Ross. A lot of people at the moment sort of have discovered a lot of mathematical equations within paintings, within art itself, and a lot of mathematical equations, maybe within music as well. Um, so you can understand where that sort of comes from. And yes, art and like painting and stuff are a lot, and music are very free form, whereas developing can be a little bit restrictive in that creative nature. But it's also not at the same time, because you've got this massive ability and so many languages and so many other things that just turn out to be bits and bytes, bits in just ones and zeros
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that
But and
we've
then
created them.
the code you write for your employer, that's a different level than the code you write at night. I love trying to find ways of doing things that are not supposed to be done that way. Like, it's actually the original sense of hacking.
I understand.
So,
Yeah, okay.
for example, I added an Azure function a few weeks ago to update my about section on my Twitch panel, and every 30 minutes it shows a new error, and it's an error generated by AI. So it's not a real error. I just fed some old basic um, um, error messages to train a model, and then now I'm using AI to create a random error message, and that's updated to my about page every 30 minutes. I love doing
That's
things
very
like that,
cool.
just grabbing things and making something work. I was exploring
Exactly.
things and hacking, and
It,
then
and
it's an art form.
it is, it is, and I mean, I know where you're coming from with the when you mentioned at work is a different beast to when you're streaming, because at work there's a lot of rinse repeat. Um, I've got to create a method or a function or do something that does something that I'd already done previously, but with a different data set. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that out there. Error as a service. Where can I sign up? Um,
that's it. Error as a service.
so like for example, this the chat thing on stream, that is run mainly off of like a JavaScript browser source, but then I added in an Azure function to get the user data, to get the badges and the user profiles and all that sort of information, because well, recently Twitch changed their authentication methods, so that has got like a bit of Azure function behind it, a bit of JavaScript behind it, quite a bit of CSS, and it's very simple, but it works. And I'm just trying to figure out the test. No, it does not do that. It actually renders it as text. Don't try that at home. Don't try that again. Oh, cheating, cheating. Um, and then it's just like with those little things that we've done on stream, and then with the bigger things. I mean, like recently, I'm been messing with Bluetooth low energy devices. In fact, my heart rate sensor, and it's just like I got a heart rate sensor. And, oh, I can connect it to my PC. See what I can do. And it's just like, oh, that's another thing that we can do. And I think it will continue on as long as Twitch is around and as long as streaming is around. Us developers will just experiment
Yeah,
as much as we can, especially with the APIs that we've got.
that's what. For example, the lights in the back, they are controlled through my chatbot. I just love connecting them. I've got speaking of Bluetooth, I have this little gun here. It's a Bluetooth toy gun, and you can only trigger send in one event. But I already reverse engineered the Bluetooth code so I can connect it to a website and build a game and listen to the trigger of the device. And it's
Nice.
just love those things. Just trying to figure out how something works. Same with the light on the other side. It's not, so that's a U light, and that's some other obscure protocol, and it used to go out through Wi-Fi, and then there you had to configure it, and I sniffed the network connection and then took out the keys to be able to not go out into the cloud and just connect it directly. And
Nice.
those kind of things, just make it work.
Make it work, and then make it better.
Yes.
As we all say. So thank you very much. We're actually hitting that hour, and we've had a decent chat today.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Well, actually, we got like 10 minutes left, but we sort of just round it off and just say thank you for being here and all that sort of stuff.
I love
so yes, thank you for being here. It's been good talking to you.
Yes.
I think I'm not sure where streaming is going to go and where it's going to be in another 10 years, and none of us can actually tell. But we're enjoying ourselves right now. It's a lot of fun,
Yes.
and with the stuff that you're doing is a lot of different stuff compared to some of the folks around here, and it is crazy to think that we're just doing things like this, and we're using what we've got.
Yeah.
but what we've got is reverse engineering based stuff. It's like, oh, I've got something that's Bluetooth, because I think it was Amazon buttons, wasn't it? Some people started messing around with those as soon as they got them. It's like, what does this do?
Yeah. What can I do with it?
So yeah, thank you very much for being here. I hope you've had a good evening.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Right. So any questions for Timmy while I'm just trying to find somebody that we're going to be raiding? Hopefully in the minute. Hopefully that's the right URL I'm actually loading. It is. Surprise. Oh, I'm afraid there's no questions for you, buddy.
Oh.
Everyone's like, no questions for you today. So thank you very much. You've been amazing, and I am going to throw it back to the intermission screen. So thank you very much, Timmy. If you want to go and follow sorskoot, it's sorskoot on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. I assume Steam as well.
Yeah, I think everywhere. If there's a social network, it's probably sorskoot, except LinkedIn. But
LinkedIn's professional. Yes. Almost professional anyway. So thank you very much, buddy. You've been amazing. Bye for now.
Have a great day.
Right, so everyone, that was Mr. Timmy Cooker, and we are going to go and raid Manning Publishing, who are currently doing a live a conference on Python. I think they've got a Q&A on their Discord at the moment, so they're not showing much on stream. But I think that's just due to the schedule. Let's have a look at the schedule. Yeah, they're just on a little break at the moment. So, thank you very much for being here, everyone. I've been Lucky Number 7, and we will be here next week with somebody else who I have forgotten who we're doing. So, on that note, let's go and raid Manning Publications. Manning Publications is actually a sponsor of the Live Coders team, and they are a book people. They sell books. You know, those old things that we used to read lots of, and in development, we should read a lot more of them because, well, I haven't read one for a few years, and I probably should do. It's all for me. It's been a lot of learning via the internets, and by the internets I mean just doing my Twitch streams. So thank you very much again, everyone, and bye for now. And that audio is not working.